Today, we're really getting into transforming outdoor spaces, specifically patios.
Hmm.
The idea is to, give your outdoor living a serious upgrade, whether you're dreaming of a cozy little hideaway or maybe a spot for entertaining friends.
Exactly, because patios, they're more than just concrete slabs, right?
Yeah.
They're kind of where our homes meet the outdoors.
Yeah, where we relax, show off a bit of style.
And for this, we've been looking at a really interesting discussion all about upgrading these spaces, lots of inspiration, but also, crucially, practical tips for patio design.
Okay, so the mission for you, the learner, is basically a shortcut. We want you to grasp the key things that make a patio work really well.
Yeah, maybe some surprising facts, those little insights, but without, burying you in technical jargon.
We're focusing on making that outdoor retreat functional, inviting the whole package. So, where do we even start? What's the first big idea?
Well, a really good place to begin is thinking about that connection between inside and outside. How do you make them flow together?
Ah, right, making the patio feel like part of the house, not just tacked on.
Precisely. The source material really hammered home this idea of the patio as a natural continuation of your living area.
And they mentioned something visually quite striking, those floor-to-ceiling wooden doors.
Oh, yeah.
It seems simple, but that can totally change the feel, can't it? Just letting all that natural light flood in.
It really can. And it makes that barrier between inside and out almost disappear. It's an invitation.
What's interesting is how that architectural choice affects the whole atmosphere. It's not just the view.
No, it's the ease of movement, that psychological connection.
Yeah.
And the discussion also brought up furniture using designer pieces that balance comfort with sophistication across both areas.
Right, you want that consistent style. You don't want it to feel jarring when you step outside.
Exactly. Keep that flow going.
Okay, so we've got the transition covered. Logically, the next thing has to be the ground beneath your feet, right? The actual patio surface materials, texture.
Absolutely. The foundation sets the tone. The sources we looked at mentioned concrete and wooden floors quite a bit. They offer that sleek, sturdy base.
Clean look, versatile.
But it wasn't just about being tough. They also talked about adding depth with things like textured wall panels.
Okay. So moving beyond just the floor, those details that elevate it.
Precisely. And think about the warmth you get, say, from smooth stone paired with rich wood accents. It's engaging touch as well as sight.
That interplay of textures seems really key.
Definitely. And I like the idea of mixing finishes like a rough stone wall next to smooth wooden panels. You almost feel that contrast.
Yeah, it adds so much interest visually and, well, tactilely. Stops it feeling monotonous.
It does. And then layering on top of that, maybe textured outdoor rugs. They define seating areas nicely and add another layer of warmth underfoot.
Good point. Okay, smooth transition, solid foundation with interesting textures.
Yeah.
What's next for creating this outdoor haven?
Gotta be plants, right? Greenery. You nailed it. Greenery is absolutely vital. Lush plants just do so much for the look, the feel, that sense of tranquility. The sources really emphasize this.
Yeah, I immediately thought of those vibrant ceramic pots filled with plants. And vertical gardens, such a smart idea, especially for smaller patios, right? Maximizing that green.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And the idea of a living wall with cascading ferns or flowering vines, that can turn a plain wall into something really dynamic and beautiful.
It's like pulling a piece of the garden right onto the patio. And it softens all those harder edges, doesn't it? The concrete, the wood we just talked about.
Exactly. Provides that lovely contrast. And think beyond just, mix up the types of greenery. Tall sculptural plants for height, maybe some ground-hugging succulents for texture.
Ooh, and flowering herbs for color and maybe even scent?
Yes, that multi-sensory thing, planting aromatic stuff like lavender or jasmine. Imagine stepping out to that.
Lovely. It really elevates the whole experience. Okay, so we've got this lush backdrop. Now we need somewhere comfy to actually sit and enjoy it all.
Right. Seating and layout. Super important. And it's not just chucking a few chairs out there, is it?
No, it's got to be functional, flow well.
Definitely. The discussion pointed to comfortable lounge chairs, really plush cushions, things that genuinely encourage you to relax and spend time there.
Makes sense. And modular sofas came up too. They seem really practical if you entertain often. That flexibility.
Yeah, for anyone not familiar, modular just means sections you can move around. Really handy. And think about the textiles on that seating, soft weaves, maybe earthy tones or even some vibrant pops of color to make it feel cozy.
Right. And those low coffee tables in natural materials like rattan or reclaimed wood, they add function without being too bulky. Practical charm, you could say.
Yeah, exactly. And what's interesting is using those seating arrangements to create zones, even on one patio, like a sectional sofa in a corner with a low table, intimate conversation spot.
And where you face the seating matters too, yeah. Pointing towards the garden connects you back to that greenery we were just building up.
Precisely. Strengthens that connection. Or for bigger gatherings, maybe circular or semicircular layouts to encourage conversation.
Something I hadn't really considered much before was ergonomics and different seating heights.
Ah, yeah.
That feels quite thoughtful, making it comfortable and accessible for everyone, like outdoor chairs designed with proper support.
It's a detail that really boosts enjoyment, especially if you're out there for a while. Okay, so we've got comfort sorted. Let's talk about adding more personality, more atmosphere with color.
Ah, yes, the fun bit. They mentioned going for quite rich, sophisticated colors sometimes, like sapphire blues or golden tones on cushions and throws for a bit of luxury. I like that idea.
Yeah, or even simpler deep blue cushions against neutral furniture. Just that pop of color can be really effective without, overwhelming the space.
And layering color through different things, cushions, throws, plant pots. That sounds like a good way to add depth and make it feel personal.
It gives you flexibility too. You can change things up seasonally or whenever you fancy a refresh. And a really key point they made, think about how colors look in daylight versus artificial light at night.
Oh, that's crucial. You don't want your perfect daytime color scheme to look completely flat or weird after dark. Which brings us neatly to lighting. That must be huge for setting the mood, especially evenings.
Absolutely huge. During the day, sunlight shows off all those textures and colors. But come evening, soft ambient lighting just transforms the place, creates a bit of magic.
I always think string lights look great, maybe draped over a pergola. Such a warm glow.
Yeah, they're popular for a reason.
Yeah.
And minimalist lanterns can add to that cozy vibe too, without being too visually noisy.
And for a more modern look, what about those subtle LED strips along patio edges, defining the space?
That can be really effective. And generally, thinking about layering light is important. Maybe a pendant light as a focal point, some lanterns on tables for task lighting, perhaps dimmable floor lamps for flexibility.
Right, different lights for different jobs and moods. And the practical side, solar power options are definitely worth considering, aren't they? For ease and sustainability.
For sure. Now, moving beyond the big stuff like seating and lights, what about the smaller things, the decorative bits that make it feel less like just an outdoor area and more like home?
Yeah, the personalization. Finding that balance, they said, between sophistication and actual comfort with your accent pieces.
Like maybe some artistic ceramic vases with tall ornamental grasses. Adds that elegant vertical element.
Or textured cushions and throws, not just comfy, but they give that layered, lived-in feel, right? Makes it welcoming.
Definitely. And subtle patterns in textiles, geometric, botanical, whatever suits your style, can add visual interest without being too busy.
So things like wall planters, maybe a patterned outdoor rug, those vases, they're all chances to inject your own taste.
Exactly. Whether you like, say, eclectic pottery or really sleek minimalist planters, it's about reflecting you.
And don't forget the really personal stuff, maybe, like a handmade bird feeder or some interesting stones collected on travels.
Those are the things that make it uniquely yours. Okay, let's shift focus slightly to engage more senses. What about water and sound?
Oh, I love this. That gentle sound of trickling water from a fountain. It's instantly calming, isn't it? And it can help mask other noises, like city sounds.
Yeah, a natural sound buffer. And an interesting idea was placing water features near vertical gardens. Creates a sort of mini ecosystem feel.
It's all about hitting multiple senses, really. The sound of water, the smell of flowers, the rustle of leaves. It makes the experience much richer.
Totally immersive. And you could even think about outdoor speakers for some soft music, or maybe nature sounds, if that's your thing.
Or even simpler things, like wind chimes, or just choosing plants that rustle nicely in the breeze. A natural soundtrack.
Okay, we've covered a lot about the look and feel, but it needs to work, right? Functionality, zoning the space. Let's talk about that. Crucial point. You've got to think beyond just how pretty it looks and consider how you'll actually use it day to day. Is it mainly for chilling out, entertaining, family dinners, a mix?
That makes complete sense. Because the how really dictates the what in terms of layout and furniture, and zoning the space, creating different areas for seating versus dining, maybe using furniture placement or even different floor materials that sounds smart for usability.
Yeah, it brings order and purpose even without walls.
Hmm.
And crucially, leaving enough space to actually move around comfortably,
Yeah.
encouraging conversation flow.
And shade. We can't forget shade. Pergolas, retractable awnings, maybe even climbing plants on a trellis. Essential for comfort on sunny days.
Absolutely vital for making the patio usable all day long. And thinking longer term for multi-season use, flexible elements are great. Weather-resistant cushions, maybe some cozy blankets nearby, portable heaters.
Good thinking. Okay, so we've got all these pieces. How do we tie it all together, ensure it feels harmonious and flows well, especially with the house?
Right, maintaining that visual link is key. The source material suggested matching material palettes between the house and patio helps create that continuity.
And back to those floor-to-ceiling doors again, they play a big role in that smooth transition we wanted from the start.
They really do. It's about making the two spaces feel like they belong together. And practically speaking, don't forget storage, like benches with hidden compartments, stylish and tidy.
Smart. And balancing openness with privacy. Sometimes you need a bit of screening, right? Outdoor screens or curtains could work without closing it off completely.
Exactly. And thinking wider, how does the patio connect to the rest of the garden? Using pathways or bordering plants can create that nice fluid transition. Okay, looking ahead. Long-term considerations, keeping it looking good and working well.
Well, maintenance has to be up there. Choosing hardy plants and durable materials probably saves headaches down the line.
For sure. Regular cleaning, treating wood, the usual stuff helps preserve everything. And the discussion also mentioned maybe updating accessories or fabrics occasionally just to keep it feeling fresh.
And investing in that modular furniture up front seems like a good bet for future adaptability.
Yeah, lets you reconfigure easily as life changes. And sustainability is a growing factor too, thinking about reclaimed wood, recycled materials, those solar lights we mentioned.
It's about designing a space that can evolve with you. And they also stress thinking about both day and night use right from the planning stage, getting that balance of shade and lighting right.
And inclusivity, again, ergonomic seating, varied heights, making sure it's comfortable for everyone. And finally, just basic safety. Well-lit paths, non-slip surfaces, important stuff.
Okay, wow, lots to think about. Let's try and pull out the main takeaways from this deep dive. It seems like getting that luxurious, welcoming patio is really about thoughtful mix, textures, colors, lighting, definitely greenery.
Right, and functionality is just as crucial as looks. Zoning the space, choosing versatile furniture, that's key.
Seamless transitions from inside to out, engaging the senses with things like water or scent, that elevates it.
And finally, making it personal, making it adaptable for the long haul. That's what makes it truly yours.
Exactly. So that leads us to a final thought for you, the learner.
Consider how picking just one or two of these ideas we've talked about could actually shift how you feel about your own outdoor space. What small change might unlock a whole new way for you to enjoy your home and, the nature right outside your door.
So you're looking to really nail your patio space, and you want the key info quickly.
That's the idea.
We've pulled together some really good insights, all focused on hitting that sweet spot, a patio that looks amazing but is also genuinely practical, season after season.
Yeah, something that really works for you.
Our mission today: cut through all the fluff, give you the core strategies, maybe a few surprising facts too, so you can approach your patio project feeling well-informed.
Exactly. We're going beyond just pretty pictures. We're looking at how smart design choices create an outdoor space that's, functional, inviting, and lasts.
Okay, let's get into it. First up, this idea of multifunctional elements. Seems simple, but it really stood out.
Oh, absolutely. It's such a game changer, especially for practicality and style.
How so? Like, what kind of things are we talking about?
Well, think about, say, a coffee table. Maybe one with a top that lifts up. Gives you hidden storage underneath, or becomes a handy surface for drinks or snacks.
Oh, storage is always good.
Right, or modular seating. Those sectionals you can rearrange. Perfect for shifting from a big lounge vibe for a party to maybe separate seats for a smaller chat. Super flexible.
Yeah, I love that. Adapting to who's there. That's really clever. It feels like you're getting more bang for your buck from each piece, doesn't it?
Precisely. That versatility, it just boosts the practicality, but also makes the whole space feel more thought out, more elegant somehow.
Okay, so individual pieces are important, but the sources also really hammered home this idea of a consistent design language. It's not just about buying nice things in isolation, is it?
No, definitely not. You're aiming for a cohesive feel, like an actual outdoor room. So it's about choosing furniture, decor, materials that actually speak to each other.
Speak to each other. How do you mean?
Well, think about materials. You could have sleek metal, warm wood, natural fibers like rattan or jute. They can all exist together beautifully if you're intentional about it.
So you could have like a modern metal dining table, but maybe soften it with some woven cushions on the chairs or some earthy terracotta pots nearby.
Exactly. That interplay is key. The cool metal against the texture of the weave, the natural feel of the wood. It creates this richer, more inviting atmosphere than if everything was just the same.
Right. It adds depth. Okay, so the look is coming together, but what about the practical side, just moving around? A patio can look great, but feel awkward to use.
That's a really critical point. Optimizing the layout and flow. You've got to start by asking, what's the main thing I want to do out here?
Like, is it mostly for eating or lounging or maybe a bit of gardening?
Exactly. Once you know your priorities, you can start assigning zones, even informally. Think about where the sun hits, what the best view is. Position your seating to take advantage of that.
So if Sunday brunch is the big thing, maybe put the dining setup where it gets morning light.
Precisely. And keep pathways clear. Nothing worse than tripping over chairs trying to get around.
It's true.
And especially if space is tight, don't forget built-in seating.
Ugh, like a bench built along a wall, maybe with planters integrated?
Yes, that could be incredibly space efficient. Frees up floor space. Looks really custom and streamlined too.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so layout's key.
Yeah.
Now let's talk greenery. The sources made it sound like plants are way more than just decoration.
Oh, they absolutely are. You can use them almost like soft architecture, defining spaces without putting up solid walls.
How does that work?
Think about using taller, more slender plants, bamboo in pots, for instance. Or maybe a trellis with some climbing vines. They create a sense of separation, a bit of privacy, but they still feel airy and light.
So you feel enclosed, but not totally boxed in.
Exactly. And if you're really short on ground space, vertical gardens are fantastic.
Those wall planters. Yeah, they're great for balconies.
For sure. They add so much life to a blank wall, save space, and become a real focal point.
But is there a risk of overdoing it? Ending up with a jungle instead of a patio?
Huh. Yes, that's definitely possible. Balance is crucial. Instead of just, scattering pots everywhere, try grouping them.
Grouping them.
Yeah, to create little clusters. Vary the heights, the leaf shapes, the pot styles. It looks more intentional, more designed, less cluttered.
Okay, curated groupings. That makes sense.
And use height. Hanging baskets, wall shelves for smaller pots. It keeps the floor clear for walking and furniture.
Good tip. Okay, strategic planting. Now, color. That obviously sets a mood, but the sources suggested it's more strategic than just picking your favorite shade.
It really is. Color affects how spacious the area feels. Lighter, neutral tones, creams, beiges, soft grays. They tend to open things up visually. Great for smaller patios.
And to feel bigger.
Right. Whereas deeper colors, think rich blues, terracotta, even darker greens, they can make a space feel cozier, more intimate, warmer.
And you don't have to paint the whole fence one color, right? Accents are important.
Absolutely. That's where you can really have fun and inject personality. Cushions, outdoor rugs, throws, even the pots for your plants. These are perfect for adding pops of brighter color.
And the great thing is, those are easy to change out.
Exactly. You can update them seasonally or just when you feel like a refresh without a huge commitment.
If you found this video helpful or inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Interior Blockchain Studio for more expert design ideas, trends, and creative inspiration. Your support helps us bring you even more amazing content, so make sure to turn on notifications and stay updated with our latest uploads. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.